want to quickly go for?
There's no section on my linguistics, so I can just show part of my project. For the diploma students, we had initially started with a research question, and then we were asked to kind of introduce a test site to test that question. So mine was valuing urban ecology, and it's based on community engagement and the idea of ecology within a city. The value of it really relies on how the community values it and how the community kind of understands its local environment. So what I designed was initial part of my project was a game, which is a community consultation and participation game, which a landscape architect within the community would be able to initiate, and then be employed by the charity to undertake this. And it would form basically the survey analysis stage of a project. So the idea of valuing urban ecology, basically this in a way it kind of gives a value to urban ecology, but it also engages the community and promotes value, because the value of the ecology is about how the community uses their landscape. So I've divided up in areas to understand different types of connections with the landscape, which is experiential, psychological and ecological. And this just examines the relationship between the community and their landscape. And also, quite importantly, if you see the bottom list, the bottom list of things, that one key element that the landscape and ecology within a city plays is to do with counteracting the negative effects of climate change. So I've identified specific systems and species which are key to doing that. So marshy areas, shelter belts, large trees, flood channels, substantial spaces, absorbent surfaces, non-irrigated spaces, versatile vegetation for hot, dry conditions, and still flowing water. And these systems, they're valuable, in some of them in more ways than one, in counteracting the effects of climate change. So yeah, it's basically tallying up the value of your landscape. And then what I did next, I chose a site within the East London Green Grid area, so kind of directly related to kind of waterways. It wasn't actually in a waterway area, but has groundwater, there's flooding issues, lots of kind of water-related issues. And I kind of took this information, which I played with a few people in the local community, and made a proposal for the landscape. And the proposal, the idea is that you don't really need to introduce lots of massive new systems and really expensive new schemes, but it's really getting the community to understand the landscape and get some ownership of it, so it's looked after and it's used in more productive ways. So that's it.
And you were really almost bringing a sort of scalpel, weren't you? You were almost inserting things within an existing landscape in a very light way, actually, I think.
Even just quite small things like introducing a wildflower meadow, that brings kind of some extra kind of biodiversity to some new species to the area, but mainly it was to do with the community actually seeding that meadow and bringing kind of colour and life to their local landscape, which otherwise would most likely just be lawn areas in general in a kind of London park. So yeah, small introductions like that to the landscape.
I suppose like thinking about things that you've already got, thinking about things in more detail makes you appreciate them even more. But it's getting people to kind of appreciate their surroundings even more. That's
just in my local area, a few people that I know around where I live is in Greenwich and Point Hill. The Point is a small park which is very close to, just across the road from Blackheath and close to the Greenwich Royal Parks, but it's very underused because there are so many parks around the area, and just the typical characteristics of a London park. It's pretty high maintenance because there are lots of lawn areas, and the kind of more valuable biodiversity-wise areas are the woodland scrubs around the edges. They're more or less, it's not too badly vandalised, but they're littered and they're not really appreciated by the community. They're not really understood what the values of that are. And it didn't really have any systems to help flood alleviation. So it's the idea of introducing some systems like swales and thinking about the hard landscaped areas. Do they really need to be hard landscaped areas, and changing that?
Did you take it to the Royal Parks?
No, I didn't. I suppose that would be a bigger job.
But you still could.
Yeah, yeah, the idea
This is ongoing. It's
Yeah.
not really, doesn't have to stop now, does it?
it could be applied. The idea is it could be applied to any landscape within any city.
A nice sort of exercise to do in a community.
Yeah.
Just a bit of fun.
Thanks very much, Ciara.